Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. If you are tuning in, it is Friday. It is September 29th, 2023. And as I used to be a federal employee, it's the last day before the end of the fiscal year. And if you've been paying attention to anything in the news, we are headed toward a potential government shutdown. As someone that used to work for the General Services Administration, I remember some years ago, I think during the Clinton administration, we had to get up in the morning and see on Monday morning if they came to an agreement. I don't think we got furloughed, but there's a huge impact. And it was important when our Congresswoman's team reached out and said, hey, we need to talk about this. Are you available Friday? Yep, I sure am. And also, if you have any student loan debt, guess what? You need to start paying that back as of Sunday. And so we're going to get into the details. We're going to get into the advocacy. And as always, we're going to check in on our Congresswoman, who I can see in the backstage, as always, is looking wonderful and radiant. And she is my sister and friend. And I see the eyebrows, so I know what we're going to talk about today. Congresswoman, I know we're here. We got to talk about business, but you know, I have to check in with you to see how you were doing. You're looking wonderful, but with all the advocacy, with all that you're dealing with there in DC and fighting for us in the Mass 7th, how are you?
I'm doing great. You know, I think because of moments like Black Joy Day or the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Annual Legislative Conference Week, you know, moments with family, you know, those are things that I draw from. So I have a deep reservoir of things to draw from in times of depletion from the work of resistance. And I do just want to take a moment again, just to thank you personally for honoring Shamika James, our loved one, both on your show and also that beautiful dance tribute at Black Joy Day at the ICA.
Yes.
Shout out to Thaddeus too. That was just extraordinary.
Absolutely. And definitely to you and my good brother Conan, condolences, Aisha and the whole family, Muffin, Poochie, and everyone, to the whole family. Congresswoman, we are looking at a potential shutdown. We are looking at student debt starting back up on Sunday. As we know, in this country, whenever things like that happen, it's folks that look like you and I that are most impacted. And you often talk, and I misquote it, but can you get it for me so I can have the clip? Those that are closest to the pain need to do what?
You know it. Stop.
I always mess up the end of it, so I want to get it right.
Make it your own. That's fine. But it is my experience and our practice in our organization that the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power, driving and informing the policy making. But I think where you're trying to go is, you know, when the rest of the country gets a cold, Black folks get pneumonia.
Yep.
You know, in the literal and figurative sense.
Yes.
And so that certainly is true, that in times of great consequence, of dire straits, that is the most marginalized, that feel it the deepest, the worst. And that is certainly true if we are to go into a government shutdown. And adding insult to injury, this all could have been avoided. What the Republicans have proven, which should come as no surprise, that people who incited an insurrection can't govern. Since we came into the 118th Congress, it has just been chaos and callousness, and I think contempt for the will of the majority of the people. They want to advance a deeply harmful and unpopular agenda. And if anything stands to obstruct or is in the way of that, including within their own conference, because McCarthy just can't get his conference together, then they will hold the rest of us hostage and have people's livelihoods and lives in limbo. Just to give you some contrast. So all week I've been, in votes till sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, moving some 400 amendments. Again, this all could have been avoided if they simply had if they'd passed a simple funding bill. So here we are in this 11th hour trying to avoid a government shutdown. And some of the things we've been voting on are, it's in their opinion that our military is weak and woke. And so one of the amendments that we voted on was to ban a recognition of pride on our military bases. Also to pay the diversity and equity chief $0, to take their pay down to $0. So anything that has to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion, anything that gets us closer towards a nationwide ban on abortion, so criminalizing those who seek abortion care. They want to starve our babies. They want to ban our bodies, ban our books. And really, it's just, so we're in chaos right now. And if this shutdown does happen in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District, there will be our most vulnerable families when it comes to food assistance. Some 125,000 families will be impacted. When it comes to government workers and federal contractors, there are 7,000 of those in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District who will be impacted. A quick digression there. I did reintroduce my legislation in partnership with Eleanor Holmes Norton in the House and with Senator Tina Smith in the Senate for back pay for federal contract workers. Because currently, if we do go into shutdown and as they split up which workers are essential and non-essential and who would receive back pay when we come back, federal contract workers are exempt from that. Yep. And just to say who federal contract workers are, when we talk about our most vulnerable, this is our food service workers, our custodial staff, or people in any number of other positions, administrative positions that they've been contracted to take on. So again, in the Massachusetts 7th, you're talking about some 7,000 people that would be impacted. But we've introduced legislation to say that they should be deemed eligible for back pay. So a Republican shutdown, and if we go into shutdown, that's what this is a Republican manufactured shutdown, is going to mean evictions will spike. Seniors could be left without Social Security or Medicare help. Millions of women and children could lose food assistance. And as I said, the impact on federal contract workers.
Congresswoman, you remember some years ago when I was at Youth Build USA, it's not just for folks that think it's just government employees. Those federal contract workers, when you came to Youth Build, who they're looking at now used to be one. We were in contract with Department of Labor. I remember getting the email saying, hey, all work may have to stop, and there is no reimbursement. So that means that if that happens, those that work at any organization that has a contract, they don't get paid if that organization does not have the funds.
James, thank you so much. Go on. This is an important point. Go on.
Because sometimes I don't think folks hear that we get this information out, but I really want to ensure that they understand with all layman's terms or just making it plain real, that if I was still at Youth Build as of this Friday, not knowing if I'm going to be able to accrue the hours on the contract to get paid 2 weeks from today. And so it is real, like every day, we don't know where the federal, sorry, Congresswoman. Yes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your unpacking that, because sometimes people can have a narrow profile assumption of who's to be impacted. And so it's important to broaden that. And so it just explains how even more dire this is, because the reach goes much farther than people initially consider. And again, for those that are sort of cynical about government, and I'm working hard to, keep your faith, restore your faith in government. This isn't, when people say, well, why can't you all just get it together? Again, please understand what we are up against right now. We've been voting the kind of things they've been bringing to the floor. They want us to exclude over 1 million low-income mothers and children from nutrition aid. They want us to cut heating assistance for low-income families by over 70% as we're heading into winter months. They want us to prohibit funds for abortion healthcare access and ban LGBTQ pride recognition in the military. They want to slash funding for public schools that serve low-income students by 80% and much, much more. So, they established an anti-woke caucus. They need to be figuring out how they can establish and do some anti-harm work, because that's all they're causing is just harm. And so just to lay this out, the Republican bills have no path forward in the Senate. So even if they're passing in the House, there's no path forward. So what we're moving forward on is an overwhelmingly, the Senate has a bipartisan bill to continue funding the government. So that's where we are now. Okay. Now on student loan payments. So as we talk about this dire situation with a number of people impacted and not having income, student loan payments, which we fought hard for that pause during the pandemic 3 times. And we know what a game changer that was for people in so many ways, are now looking at a fiscal cliff here. That was before even the backdrop of a government shutdown. Some people are paying student loan payments the equivalency of a mortgage. So anywhere from $500 to $900 and higher. October 1st is when those student loan payments are supposed to resume.
2 days from today, Sunday.
2 days from today. And so what I'm calling on the administration is to not resume student loan payments. I have real concerns, particularly facing a government shutdown, for borrowers who are expected to pay something when they have no income. But also real concerns about the Department of Education's readiness, because you're also talking about impact on staffing levels and things like that. So I do not believe the DOE has the readiness for student loan payments to resume. And I certainly know their borrowers are not ready for that. And just so you know, we have not stopped our fight for broad-based student loan debt cancellation. We're in daily conversations with the White House. They're using another tool. We're in a rulemaking process, which we're trying to get expedited. So we're still fighting for that broad-based relief. And we're still available to help you know, as a borrower, what relief programs you are eligible for. The SAVE program, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and the income-driven repayment program. So we're still doing the work of fighting for broad-based student loan debt cancellation in light of the fact that the corrupt Supreme Court obstructed Biden's executive action, which he did have the legal authority. But anyway, so that fight continues. We're connecting people to resources that they are eligible for relief that do exist while we continue to fight for broad-based relief. And we are asking the administration to not resume student loan payments on October 1st. It would just be devastating. And as I told the White House 2 days ago, you need to be exhaustive in finding any way to deliver this relief. When the courts obstructed that relief, 43 million borrowers would have felt that. And 1 in 4 Black borrowers would have had their debt zero completely. So promises made, promises kept, be exhaustive, because borrowers are exhausted.
Congresswoman, a few questions just to go back. One is, when you were talking about that a lot of what the Republicans are proposing is not going to get past the Senate, this is just semantics. This is just political. I want to ask a question, and I know
with people's livelihood and lives,
their humanity. Where you can't speak for individuals, Congresswoman, but at some point through all the politics, one would think that these people would see or envision a human being that is being impacted over a macro holding on to power around all these policies that they're not helpful. And it just baffles me. I just don't understand. So I won't. If you can respond around the humanity piece, you sit there since you've been there, and I'm sure you're bewildered in the same thing.
Actually, I don't even have time to be bewildered, because I got to be about these solutions, mitigating the harm, and standing in the gap for all of you. So let me talk a little bit more about our Fair Pay for Federal Contractors bill. So specifically, our bill would guarantee that federal contract workers, including low-wage workers, service workers, that they would receive back pay and have restored paid leave benefits if used after a government shutdown. It's also going to cover costs associated with back pay for workers in an amount equal to their weekly compensation up to $1,442. And one more thing. Oh, it's going to require the Office of Federal Procurement Policy to submit a report on federal contractors accessing back pay. Okay. So those are some specifics there. I also want to make plain that my office is available to you. We'll continue providing services to our constituents. Y'all, I'm so atrophied. I'm operating on like no sleep for like 4 days, so just bear with me. But just know that my office will remain fully functional despite a shutdown, so folks can continue to relay any federal casework requests to my office. We do anticipate, I want to speak plainly about this, pretty significant delays from federal agencies, but we're going to be banging down their doors to preserve the benefits for people that they're still entitled to during a shutdown and continue to stand in the gap. Okay. Yes. And you can reach out to my office directly, my district office in Hyde Park. That's 617-850-0040. Or you can visit presley.house.gov.
There is the number to get in contact. And Congresswoman, I heard you talk about getting no sleep and whatnot. So we're going to get ready to, with all due respect, get you off of here. So you can
listen. I'm still grinding. I still got to work.
Oh, but
I know what we're hurdling towards. So I'm doing everything possible to stop that.
Yes, ma'am.
But I got to have contingency plans, and so don't y'all be worried about me.
One quick thing before we go, though. I mean, it is Friday. And I know y'all work on the weekend and you're getting ready to get off to go continue the work. But in your observation of, you used to work in federal government and whatnot, in your observation of seeing these, do you feel that this is one that just they might try to act up so much and this may happen come Sunday? For folks that don't know, the federal fiscal year ends September 30th, which is Saturday night at 12 a.m. At 12:01 a.m. on Sunday morning is the new fiscal year for the federal government.
You better teach, Jimmy. You better teach.
I used to work for the General Services Administration, Design and Construction, Region 1 here in Boston, down at the Tip O'Neill building. And so I know you're hopeful.
Again, there could be, a CR, a continuing resolution, a sort of a stopgap, if you will. So we'll see. But I do think the odds are high that a shutdown is imminent. And so we're just doing everything possible to prepare and in the event of that. But I hope that it takes a psychological toll. It takes a financial toll to have people's livelihood and lives in limbo in this way. And it's also, I didn't realize I'm not in frame here. Hold on. And it is also, I can't get it together. Comms, y'all just got to deal with it. I don't know what happened. But I'm like, which way to go? I'm trying to be centered here. But, so I do fear that a shutdown is imminent. And it's disruptive. It's inconvenient. And it was avoidable. And this is all because these extremist MAGA Republicans can't advance their deeply harmful and unpopular agenda. That's really all it comes down to. So I'm in the fight. We're on the front lines. And I got Jesus on the main line.
Thank you, Jesus. I felt that. Congresswoman, I love you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please take care of yourself. Give the family my best. And you know, if you need us, we're here. And that is here in the platform. And that is what we need to pull up as well. I love you.
Thank you for being a resource. Thank you so much for letting us come in here to talk about the shutdown, our federal contractors back pay bill, and to make sure people know that we are making an appeal for student loan payments to not resume October 1st, especially in light of this government shutdown. Can't stop, won't stop.
Listen, thank you. I almost said governor. Thank you, Congresswoman, and I will talk to you later. I love you. You can get me later. That was really a slip. Bye.
Very happy being a legislator. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you, Healy Driscoll administration, for your partnership. All right, take good care.
Bye. Listen, that was definitely a slip of the tongue. Oh God. And it's so interesting because, you know, anyway, we had our congresswoman this morning and we got it where we can find Black joy in this. And so excuse that slip up. It's real. It's real. And one of the things I didn't get to ask the congresswoman was, what is it that that's our legislator. So we don't need to call and rally her. But if you got family members in parts of the country where they got representation that's doing this crap, you need to call your family members and tell your family members that they need to call their legislators and ask them, like, yo, what's up? Like, really? The humanity. It's Friday. This is a bonus Java. And so I'm not going to go too deep there. Don't forget, this Sunday, October 1st, we are relaunching the brand, a rebrand that is going on. So make sure you go to www.javawithjimmy.com, sign up to follow up, get information. Early on, the team is working behind the scenes, working on a lot. And so if you're signed up, you get firsthand information. There's some things that are dropping on Sunday. And if you want to be in the know first, then you need to go sign up at javawithjimmy.com. We have some great programming planned for you next week. Also, we will be at the Mass Black Expo as well next week. Please don't forget also the Mass Bio University application is open. Please go check that out as well. And that is it for me this morning. Have a great weekend, everyone. Don't forget, sign up at javawithjimmy.com. Like and follow us on Twitter, on Instagram at Java with Jimmy, and also on Facebook at Java with Jimmy as well. And again, we appreciate our congresswoman coming in. And I believe that is it for me this morning. So we shall talk to you soon and see you on Monday morning, or you may see me over the weekend. Actually, I might go live tomorrow. The duck tours, a whole bunch of health policy folks are getting together tomorrow, and I might go. So I may go live tomorrow during that. All right. Thank all of you for tuning in. There's a lot of folks in here. And so Teresa said it looks like Noah's Ark out here. All right, I'm getting out the comments. I will see you guys on Monday officially at 9 a.m. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter at javawithjimmy.com. And that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.